Coming up on Lazer Update, we meet Steve White and get to learn a bit more about what Veterans Affairs does.
Afterwards, we get insight at OCC's Accessibility Resources Department. It's a good day to find out what OCC can do for you, and you'll hear all about that and more in the next 20 minutes.
Good morning and welcome to Lazer Update. I'm Colin Rickert.
And I'm Chevy Chafee. Right now, it's April 18th, so like a month until graduation.
Give or take 2 days, but let's focus on the present and talk about what's going on at OCC campus right now. If you're a veteran looking for assistance, I know a man who served his country and is now serving our students at OCC. Reporter Edgar Dowd's got the story on OCC's Assistant Director of Veterans Affairs.
From an educational advisor to the Assistant Director of Veterans at the Office of Veterans Affairs, Stephen White embodies what OCC tries to provide for its students, sense of home and belonging.
Grew up in Central New York, graduated from high school, and I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. I was an active duty United States Marine infantryman and carried a rifle for 4 years. The office actually opened in 1974, so 49 years ago. We're very excited about next year being our 50th anniversary. I think it gives me a degree of credibility because I'm both a veteran as they are, and I went to school using the GI Bill as they are. So I can relate to their experience and how they got here and the challenges that they face as a student veteran. Lots of memories. It's great to see students graduate and come in and tell you that they got accepted at the transfer school that they were looking for. And you know, sometimes it's just great to see students get through the semester with passing grades.
Stephen White, a man who has and continues to provide for his community, is a prime example of how one person's dedication to helping others can have a long-lasting impact on others.
Wow, 50 years. Here's to hoping for many more years of Veterans Affairs, especially when we have Steve White to help out our soldiers. It's time for everyone's favorite segment.
Did you know? Our daily feature where we talk about possibly lesser-known OCC programs, departments, and people.
No, of course not. Don't be silly. We're talking about food. Reporter Eufy Legitimus got a front row seat to show us mouth-watering meals in the Gordon building.
More importantly, Eufy's got the scoop on how to stay informed on what's on your menu and what you can get.
Did you know that the Gordon cafeteria has its own website? Many students and faculty that come to OCC rely on the cafeteria to keep them going throughout the day, whether it be getting a Starbucks coffee in the morning or their dinner in the evening. However, not many are aware of the cafeteria's online presence. On their website, you can find valuable information such as the current and upcoming weekly menu, opening and closing times, as well as more information regarding meal plans. To learn more, just go online to sunyOCCdining.com.
Okay, I'll admit, looking at that food was almost as good as the information Eufy gave. Remember, if you want to check out the dining hall menu, go to sunyOCCdining.com. But if you're still hungry, there's more to sate your appetite. Free food from Wegmans and the potential to win more? Reporter Eliza McMahon here to tell us more about the spring fundraiser.
With midterms and project due dates coming up, the week before spring break can be a stressful time. Snacks for Students, one of many events organized by the OCC Foundation, hopes to make things easier by giving students a little treat.
So this is our third year doing Snacks for Students. It's a fundraiser that is run by the OCC Foundation.
The event is funded by a monetary donation from teachers, while the foundation receives a donation of food from Wegmans. Together, this fundraiser strives to give something no student can resist: free snacks.
Being here on campus, living in the res halls, and doing student government here, it keeps me on my toes, knowing that there is something like this that is helping give other students food to keep them going. I think it's a great idea, and I wish I saw it more.
This year, Snacks for Students also includes an optional survey with the potential to win some great prizes.
The student provides their contact information to the OCC Foundation, and in turn they become eligible for either a Barnes & Noble gift card or a gift card at American Food and Vending. So it's a great way for the student to earn some, an extra surprise, if you will, by participating in it.
This is the third year in a row that Snacks for Students has run, and with the crowds it draws, we're sure to see it next spring as well.
Yep, still hungry. Make sure to stay tuned for when the fundraiser returns next spring with more snacks to keep you going in between classes.
Now we got a break, but I know you want to hear a bit more from us.
Do they?
So let me keep you up to date on what's coming up next week. Next week on April 24th will be another Vera House visit in the Gordon Center from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop by to ask advocates about unhealthy relationships and be rest assured that they're here to keep things confidential and to keep you safe. And if you miss it, Vera House will be back in Gordon on May 5th.
April 25th, there'll be another visit from Healthy Start. Their home visiting service will help you and your young infant. They'll be in a table in Whitney Hall from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you don't have a chance to stop by, don't worry. Healthy Start will be in Whitney on May 2nd and 9th.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC because it has hands-on learning.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC to be seen.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC to connect with the community.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC because it's close to home.
Why did I come to OCC? I came to OCC because it was financially affordable for my family.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC for the hands-on learning.
A gothic horror spin on comedy and a breath of new life in an old side character. Nicholas Hoult stars in the supernatural comedy horror Renfield. Will Love set Dracula's eternal lackey free? I guess the only way to find out is to go see it in theaters after our show.
But right now, the only wacky venture to follow is ours. And reporters on site, but mostly ours. Welcome back, I'm Chevy.
And I'm Colin. Let's snap into our next story. Most people attend OCC to get a degree so they can get a good job after. But there's another thing that can help you get a job, and that's a good photo for your resume. OCC can hook you up with that too, it seems. Reporter Fatima Finley has the story.
Recently, the School of Business executed a photography event that allowed staff and students to be able to get their photos done professionally. This is what student John Lyons had to say about this opportunity.
Hundreds of dollars to do on your own. So we're providing students with a photo they can use for their LinkedIn profile or to connect with professionals and employers.
Well, I was very happy to get the email notification announcement for this event because I think it's a great opportunity for students. I'm a mature student in the business technology program, but I think it's a great opportunity for the young students to have a headshot. And everybody here was very helpful to sign in and to line up, and everything went very quick and smoothly. And it was great that they offered like wardrobe, like from the waist up for students to borrow.
The Business Club is located in W201 every Wednesday in the Mawiney building from 12:15 to 1:15. Don't forget to check them out as they achieve to bring students out their comfort zone.
I can't overstate how much more seriously people will take you with a quality headshot. While there's no photo events happening in the near future, you can always borrow some clothes to take your own professional photos from the Career Closet in Mawiney.
The Office of Accessibility Resources, also called OAR, helps disabled students at OCC. But what do they actually help with? What can OAR do for us, and by extension you? Reporter Annabelle Hughes is here to tell us.
My job is very fascinating. Every day there's something different. The student population is extremely diverse. In addition, within the disability field, every person is unique in how they present, but there's always new conditions, situations. Each student gets to have a say in their service plan. It's not like the K through 12 environment where services are prescribed and ordered by parents frequently. The student gets to have a say, which we like. And the student tends to mature quite a bit during their time here, become more of a self-advocate, and hopefully adjust and do well here. Our most commonly used service is extra time for tests or testing in a private setting. Last semester, just fall semester alone, we gave 900 tests down the hall here in the testing center to students that received that service. I work with a nice team of people. We do have some great technology here as well. We have a program for people with vision loss that enhances the font size of the print to the size that the person can read it. We can convert your textbooks into what we call e-text, which is having your textbook read aloud to you. We try and spread the word about the technology we have, because we have some good stuff, and it just requires learning it just like any other technology.
If you need to set up accommodations for your disability, OER offices are on the first floor of the Coulter Library. Feel free to stop on by.
Okay, so that's what our director of OER has to say about disability. But have you ever wondered what our students have to say about disability?
Why don't we ask our reporter, Annabelle, to get back and read the pulse of the campus? Let's ask the OCC community about their thoughts on autism.
April is Autism Acceptance Month. Or is it called Autism Awareness Month? Maybe it's World Autism Month? It seems like there's a lot of confusion about the subject, regardless of the time of year. But how much does OCC's campus know about autistic people?
There's a common misconception that people with autism are dumb or unintelligent. It can come across in many different ways. Personally, people would look at me and say, oh, I wouldn't have assumed you have autism, which is a little offensive.
They're very smart, and they have special things that help them out in different ways.
The idea that having it will give someone metaphysical retardation, or they're just socially awkward, and or they're outcasts, they're degenerates, that sort of thing.
Well, that's our consensus of what campus feels on the subject. Although if you're perhaps longing for better answers, you could take this as your sign to become more educated on autism this April. This has been Pulse of the Campus. For Lazer Update, I'm Annabelle Hughes.
Well, those were thoughts.
You never know what kind of fun answers you'll get asking the students on campus. Now, before we break, why don't we tell you guys about some up-and-coming games to prepare for this week? On April 18th, there will be a men's lacrosse at Tompkins Cortland Community College in Dryden, New York at 4 p.m. On the same day, there will be a women's lacrosse versus North Country Community College in Syracuse, New York at 4 p.m. On April 20th, there will be a baseball versus Niagara County Community College in Syracuse, New York at 3 p.m.
On April 22nd, we got women's lacrosse at Monroe Community College in Rochester, New York at 12 p.m. Also, we have baseball in Niagara County Community College in Sanborn, New York at 1 p.m. And finally, we have softball versus Niagara County Community College in Syracuse, New York at 1 p.m. Now, before we go to break, here's the scores from last week.
Are you tired of paying hundreds of dollars for one textbook? Well, have no fear, Box of Books is here. Box of Books is a program where you only have to pay $21 per credit hour for your textbooks. And the best part is, you don't have to keep the books for the rest of your life. At the end of the semester, you can walk into the bookstore to return your textbooks, or you can ship them from the comfort of your home. So stop draining your bank account and start spending your money on really cool things like this hoodie. Stop by the bookstore in the Whitney Atrium or scan this QR code for more information.
The Coulter Library is your place for entertainment. With over 77,000 books, movies, and CDs, there's always something to do. Your place for research help. Trouble with a project? Ask a librarian. Your place for quiet space. Shh, our first floor is reserved for quiet work only. Your place for IT help. Visit our help desk on the second floor. All this and so much more at the Coulter Library. Open 7 days a week. For more information, visit sunyocc.edu/library.
It is never too early to begin hyping up a film.
Chevy, this movie isn't slated to release until April 4th of 2025.
And this film has been in the works since 2014. I'm sure many people are willing to wait another 2 years for the official Minecraft movie. Plus, we received news that Jason Momoa is going to be in it. That's right, Aquaman in the Minecraft movie.
Sorry, it's just wow. Another movie reference?
What can I say? It's topical, especially with our final segment.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm Colin.
And I'm Chevy. Now it's time for our final part of the show, a segment we call Got Issues.
Take it away, Annabelle Hughes.
Thanks, Colin. Hi, everyone. I'm Annabelle Hughes, and today on Got Issues, we are discussing the ever-important question. Are there too many movie sequels? You see, in creative fields, you often hear that there's no such thing as an original idea, but seeming more and more apparent in theaters that we might actually be running out of ideas. Joining me today are Eric Shear and Colin Harrington to talk about whether we've scraped the bottom of the barrel or if there's some merit to a second movie. Thank you for joining me. Now, Eric, what's a sequel you've seen recently to start us off?
I recently saw, well, not so recent, but I saw Black Panther 2. I'm a big Marvel person, so to see that movie, kind of how they incorporated the passing of Chadwick Boseman, I think was flawlessly executed. And obviously, a big part of the movie for me is the soundtrack and how everything kind of flows together in that respect. So I think that was also very well written. So.
All right, I'll forgive you for cheating because that is a good movie. All right, Colin, what genre of movie do you think is saturated with the most sequels? For the record, the correct answer is horror.
Well, I do agree with your thought on the horror aspect, but I'm going to have to go with animated. Like, if you look at Disney, whenever they release a film, if it does well, they're going to make a sequel about it no matter what. And if that flops, they're just going to more than likely make another sequel. But that's what my thoughts are on that one.
Huh. Colin, do you have a specific Disney sequel you're thinking of when you talk about that?
I'm thinking about Cars because they made 3 movies, and I think after the first one, the story kind of went nowhere. So I feel like if the story is told correctly, then you could continue.
Oh, I guess tangentially related. Eric, do you think there's too many Marvel movie sequels?
I would say there's just enough in some of the films. I would say Spider-Man is definitely oversaturated. I think that's a little overdone, but that's just because I'm not a big Spider-Man guy myself. But I think that they should make more Black Panther movies because that was awesome.
I guess it's all up to personal preference. However, Eric, do you think that there should be more Black Panther movies? Do you think they actually have enough story to make another?
That's a really good question. I didn't think about that actually. I would say that there is a storyline that could be made out of how the second one ended, but I think that they would have to stretch a little bit in terms of really kind of developing how the story would play out.
Fair enough. Well, when we come back, our discussion will continue right here on Got Issues.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC because it has hands-on learning.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC to be seen.
Why did I choose OCC? I chose OCC to connect with the community.
Welcome back, Annabelle Hughes here. Again, I'm here with Eric Shear and Colin Harrington, and we've been talking of whether or not there's too many movie sequels. So let's continue our discussion. Eric, let's keep going with you. It's time for the heavy-hitting question, the one everyone's been waiting for. The worst sequel ever.
Maybe it's just recency bias, but I would say Avatar 2 is the worst movie sequel. I did not really enjoy the first one myself, but obviously the box office blew up when that one was released, and I don't think that the second one had nearly as much success, and those are very, very long movies. So I think in order to really keep the attention of your audience, they have to be something that's has a really good story or a lot of action, or yeah, I would just say that's probably the worst one.
To be fair, the original Avatar was also pretty boring, but it was so boring that everyone forgot about it and showed up to the sequel. All right, Colin, time for a happy one. What's the sequel you want to see?
Well, if you look at the entirety of the movie industry, there's a lot that come to my mind. But I think of Forrest Gump 2 and how it was never made. But because I think Forrest Gump had an incredible story to tell, and I think they had a further story to pursue with Forrest Gump 2. I just think the directors looked in a different direction, looked at the success from Forrest Gump 1, and thought a Forrest Gump 2 would be too much to do.
Oh, Colin, what do you mean by too much? What kind of limitations do you think prevent a sequel from getting made?
Well, since there was so many different storylines in Forrest Gump 1, that in 2 there would have to be many more storylines to go down the path of. Like, I was watching an interview with the director of Forrest Gump 1, and he said it just wouldn't have made as much sense to come out with because of recent events that had come out when he submitted the script.
Makes sense. All right, Eric, let's go back to Spider-Man. So, as far as I'm aware, there's like several different iterations of Spider-Man. But would you consider the newest iteration like a sequel to the older ones, or is a reboot not a sequel? What's your take?
I would say I would probably go along the lines of a reboot is, in some sense, a sequel. But I don't know if I would call Spider-Man, the newer movies, really a reboot, just because there are more recent Spider-Man movies than going way back. But yeah, I would say that they don't necessarily have to be considered a reboot. But yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right, I'd like to thank both of my guests, Eric Shear and Colin Harrington, for their awful movie taste, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. I'm Annabelle Hughes, and that's Got Issues.
Thank you, Annabelle. That's it for today's show. Don't cry too hard about missing us, though. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and Facebook. We upload new episodes every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Now, I'm Colin Rickert.
And I'm Chevy Chafee. Thanks for tuning in to today's Lazer Update.